Peace and blessing, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Welcome to this Sunday edition of Rumblings and Rantings of the week's going ons. What has been happening in Kenyan politics, or should I say politics? Hopefully, I'll be joined by some guests that I'm hoping will join me today for this discussion. We are going to have, I'm basically freestyling through this because I never really planned this, but the topic, as you see, is possible disintegration of Azimio coalition. We saw Hassan Joho is being rumored to be on his way out. Martha Karua is also said to be shaky. You know, she started that political party that was based, it's a central province regional party, basically, that he started with Kioni, which suggests that maybe she might be considering moving away from Azimio. Azimio itself, you know, for the people who are still there, are kind of thinking twice about staying because there's also rumors of a possible handshake between Raila Odinga and the president, Ruto. And this does not sit well with the people in the coalition. And also, on the other side, the Kenya Kwanza side are not happy with this possible handshake. Now, as we know, since we are talking about Azimio, the possible disintegration of the coalition, if you look at Jubilee already has been usurped by Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega from Uhuru Kenyatta's control. As we know, Sabina Chege is not the biggest fan of Raila Odinga, or Raila Odinga is not the biggest fan of Sabina Chege. So Jubilee might be also on its way out from this coalition. Now, who else? Kalonzo Musyoka, with his current pronouncements by Raila Odinga, stating that he did not endorse Kalonzo Musyoka as the ODM or Azimio coalition flag bearer for 2027. Will that make Wiper Party and Kalonzo Musyoka rethink about their future in Azimio? Let me know. This is a discussion that we need to have today and just explore that. There's a lot happening. We've had the demolitions where Raila Odinga attempted to go to that demolition that was happening in is it Mavongo? I forgot the name. Remind me. And he was stopped by the police. The question is, what was he going to do there? Was he going to actually stop the demolitions? What was his reason for going up there? We had people like Miguna who mentioned the hypocrisy by Raila Odinga of doing this. Why did he have to show up there while when Uhuru Kenyatta under his tenure, when he did similar things, when he had his demolition happening, Raila Odinga never showed up to do that. So these are the topics that we are going to explore today. So if you want to join the discussion, here is the link. I'll post the link right now, right here on the chat. So you're free to join in. It's free. Just turn on your camera, show your face, and we can have this lovely discussion. Okay. So give me a second while I post it. There's the link. I'm posting it. There you go. So for those who are wondering, that's the link right there. Just copy it, hit the link, come on in, turn on your camera. Let's talk. Let's discuss this. As I said, hopefully I'll find some folks will join me here to discuss this. On other news, sports news, Arsenal drew 2-2 with Chelsea. I had an avid Arsenal fan who was trying to convince me that they played better than Chelsea. I don't know if you were watching the same game, but they got lucky basically because Chelsea made a mistake. It wasn't because Arsenal was playing well. But yes, you can disagree with me. So if you want to discuss Arsenal and Chelsea, I'm also here for that. I'm I want all the smoke today. Arsenal fans, get in here. I want to talk to you. Do you honestly think that you guys were better than Chelsea yesterday? Please join in. It's a wide open, free discussion, open discussion for anyone who wants to join. We can go off topic. I don't care. It's Sunday. Okay, Sunday fun day. We'll take it easy. We don't have to make it. We don't have to be serious as we usually are. But yeah. So join in. Anybody. Let's see. Before I get in, let me see. Let me go to the Twitter sphere, as they call it, X now, to see what people are saying. The usual influencers, political influencers, whether it's Miguna Miguna, Haman Manyora, even though I think Haman Manyora is a proper cretin, a pseudo-intellectual who always, his views are skewed. He's a pro-Azimio political hack. But anyway, let's take a look what's going on as I wait for my guests to join me. I don't know what they're doing. I've sent the link. Please get in. If you have kids, put the kids to sleep. Tell mama to take them to the park. It's time to have a discussion. A Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, wherever you are, Sunday evening, depending on where you are in this world, join the discussion. We are going to have a proper discussion on matters politics. Okay, all right. Let's see what's going on up there. So far. Okay. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Now, just to start off with the Azimio, I saw Haman Manyora's, he posted something about Hassan Joho. Okay, for those of you know, if you know anything about Kenyan politics, Hassan Joho has been the stalwart, staunch supporter of Raila Odinga, ODM to be exact. I think he wasn't the Secretary General. He was one of the high-ranking members of the ODM, if you remember, in the past elections. He was the guy in Coast Province. He's the guy who he has a huge following in the Coast Province. Remember, Azimio, especially ODM, has always had a following in Nyanza Province. And this is due to Raila's connection with Hassan Joho and the governor there, the Sharif Nasir's son, the late Sharif Nasir's son. Okay, these are the guys who actually bring a lot of votes to ODM or Azimio coalition. Okay, but as we have seen, Sharif Nasir's son, the Nasir, let me just call him Nasir because I forgot his first name. The governor there of Mombasa County. He has been, he's one of those guys who do not mind joining Ruto, working with Ruto. I know when it comes to Nyanza province, Raila is always very, very particular. ODM, to be precise. They usually frown upon the idea of any governor or any politician receiving the president every time the president goes to Nyanza province, with the exception of Orengo, of course, who actually referred to the president as His Excellency, which rubbed a lot of ODM Azimio supporters the wrong way because they felt like Orengo should have not received the president. And also Gladys Wanga, who, let's say he has been doing an exceptional job in, is it Homa Bay? What governor is she from? I forgot. I think it's Homa Bay, if I'm not wrong. So, please correct me if I'm wrong. Those two seem to always have this pass from Raila Odinga. It's okay for them to meet Ruto, President Ruto, every time Ruto goes to Nyanza province. Remember, these Azimio folks, most of them, they still hold this position that William Ruto, Dr. President William Ruto, is illegitimate in their eyes. They still don't want to recognize him as the president of the Republic of Kenya. But, you know, that's why, you know, every time he goes to Nyanza province, there's always any politician from the Azimio coalition that decides to meet the president always lands in hot water with the Azimio hierarchy because they feel it's a betrayal of the party's position to meet the president, and it's a way of legitimizing the president. Okay, while they are official stand, if it's still the official position, is that they don't recognize Ruto as the president. But like I said, there's always exception. Gladys Wanga and Orengo always meet the president and nothing happens. So that's also a very murky place. But anyway, back to my point. I was just mentioning that Nasser, I think his name is Abdel Nasser, okay, the governor for Mombasa, him along with Hassan Joho, these are the guys who actually bring in the votes in the Azimio basket, okay? They're the guys who help Raila Odinga get some votes, a lot of votes. I don't know who won. I have to look at the IEBC numbers. I don't know who won in the Mombasa County when it comes to presidential election. But I'm just saying, Abdel Nasser is a very flexible, fair-minded governor who does not mind working with the national government to bring development in his county, which it should be like that. But as we know, Kenyan politics, if you work with somebody from across the aisle, they view you as a traitor, okay? And then when, after doing all this, now there's rumors that there might be a possible handshake between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga. And I've said, in order for this to happen, this handshake, and in order for the talks that are happening at Bomas, those the recommendations that these guys have agreed on, compromised on, in order for them to be implemented or embedded in the constitution, we have to have a referendum, okay? And in order to have a referendum, I don't think the majority of Kenyans, as it stands right now, both Kenya Kwanza supporters and Azimio supporters, and just to say, let me not say Azimio supporters and Kenya Kwanza supporters, because they don't constitute the Kenyan people. The Kenyan people, there's a lot of, we have 50 million people in population, and they're not just limited to Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. But let me just say, politically speaking, going by party affiliation, both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza supporters are not happy with the idea of changing the constitution. Okay? Now, the people in the parties, the senators, the governors, the people who are actively being whipped into this idea of the Bomas talks, they are happy with this idea. As I mentioned in my previous lives, that in order for any kind of a referendum to happen, we, especially the Azimio side, Raila Odinga in particular, and also Ruto maybe, but I want to ping this on Raila because he's the guy who actually needs this more than Ruto. And Ruto also might need this, okay? In order for this to happen, they have to have a crisis, okay? A crisis created will actually can sway the view of the majority of the people. Let's say if Raila Odinga right now starts the Mandamano, okay? And Ruto unleashes the deadly forces to quell this Mandamano. Need I remind you that every time we have a Mandamano, they're always not a walk in the park. It's always skirmishes, deadly exchange between the protesters and the security forces, whether it's the police, GSU, name it. There's always people getting shot. There's always police officers getting injured. There's always property damages. And as you know, majority of Kenyans just want peace. And so if this crisis is created by Raila Odinga by starting a protest, we'll definitely get to a position where once people start seeing the atrocities that could possibly happen, there'll be a cry for peace, 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 peace. Let these two gentlemen sit down and come up with a resolution where they can reach a compromise. They can compromise, okay? And you really see this nonsense that's being pushed over, right? If you watch at Wandanyi, whatever Wandanyi's name, is it the MP for Ugunja? I was watching him in Spice FM and he was asked, what's the need of creating these extra offices in these talks? How does that benefit the common mwananchi, the common citizen? Creating a position for Raila Odinga or creating a position for Musalia Mudavadi or whoever. How does that help the common mwananchi? Okay? And his argument, which was a lazy argument, obviously, was, there's a cry out there for inclusivity. Now, if we are going by that reasoning, okay, should we just create positions for people to accommodate everyone? Or should we have positions where it's being led or chaired by people who are actually competent, qualified to run these positions? Okay, because as it is right now, we already have enough chair, whether it's in the parliament, whether it's representative. There's some people who are actually arguing for more constituency to be created. Okay, more counties to be created. We can't spend most of our revenue on paying these representatives, whether it's MPs, governors, MCAs. Yes, I get the idea of Majimbo, the devolution, you know, where we can have semi-autocratic governments, whether it's government, county level, sub-chiefs, whatever the case is. I get that argument. But we can't just create positions for people and spend exorbitant amount of money from the taxpayers to pay these folks doing nothing. Because if you look at the MCAs, for example, I'll use just Siaya or Siaya, okay? Orengo, the auditors say that 100 million was missing from the impressed account, which cannot be accounted for. What are the MCAs who are supposed to be checking the governor? The senators are supposed to be checking the governor. What are they doing to actually recoup that money? See what I'm saying? So instead of them doing their job, which is oversight, they're just sitting there, probably being part of the corrupt regime, sharing the spoils, the corrupt money that they have been lost. 100 million. Hiyo sio pesa ya mandazi. That's a lot of money. Okay? According to the auditor general, 100 million was missing. Orengo still is in office, wearing a shirt that was worth 4,500, Gucci shirt, Givenchy, all that stuff, taking trips to Paris and everywhere else, while his MCAs are not saying anything. But when his deputy governor mentioned this, they quickly tried to impeach him. So you see, creating this position don't necessarily help the common wananchi. But people like Wandanyi, this puppet, okay, is advocating for more positions, which will not benefit the wananchi. That's what I'm saying, okay? So these are the things that we have to look at. But back to ODM, okay? Let's look at ODM, not ODM, but Azimio as a whole. Will they even last till 2027? Because I've always argued this. Like I said when I started, with the possibility of Hassan Joho joining UDA, Martha Karua and Kioni forming their own Rift Valley political outfit, okay? Kalonzo now is kind of having this idea, is smelling the coffee. He actually thinks maybe these guys they're not going to endorse him to be the flag bearer, presidential candidate 2027. What is there for them? What is in there for them? Because Kalonzo, he's stuck with Raila in the hopes that when Raila, now who is 80 years old, octogenarian, once he gets out of the scene, retires, Kalonzo will inherit the Raila support, which is not much as it stands. Because like I said, I always maintain, I preach every day here that Raila lost his clout when he associated himself in that handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta. So his support base is not as strong as it used to, as it was in pre-2017 handshake, before in 2007, in 2013, so forth, so forth. Okay? The handshake was the end of Raila's political journey, theoretically speaking. Practically speaking, actually. Okay? That's why he lost these elections. But anyway, I'm saying Kalonzo main motivation, reason that kept him as a loyal follower of Raila was the fact that Raila will probably retire soon, which he's showing no signs of. But he was hoping when Raila gives up that seat, doesn't run in 2027, he will inherit. He will become the flag bearer. Okay? That is something that I doubt is going to happen. But as I say, you never know in politics. Because my argument is this, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. This is what possibly is going to happen. Raila Odinga will stand, will be the flag bearer of the Azimio coalition, whatever is left in Azimio. Okay? And what will happen? As soon as Kalonzo realizes that he will not be the presidential candidate, he will jump ship. Okay? Martha Karua is just waiting. I told you, she's one quarrel away from leaving that Azimio coalition. Jubilee is already gone. Okay? Because Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega are running Jubilee. And we know they don't get along with Uhuru Kenyatta. And of course, they don't get along with Raila Odinga. So Jubilee is already gone. Central is gone. Okay? I'm not buying this idea of Maina Njenga and those adjudicated lunatics that were having that meeting trying to invite Gachagua and so forth, so forth. If anything, I've always argued this. If they are going to this is what's going to happen. The Central Province, in my view, okay, this is my view, and I might be wrong. Let's see. History, the future will prove me right or wrong. I'm a prophet, not prophet of doom, but this is my opinion. Central Province will be ostracized because this is what's going to happen. Martha Karua will probably jump ship and run as a presidential candidate in his little party, knowing very well she'll not win. But the whole point is this: she will leave Azimio coalition. The reason why she will leave Azimio coalition to run independently with Kioni, when you start your own presidential, when you start your own party, when you lose the election, she knows she won't win, okay? She stands in a better negotiating position if she has her own party. She can negotiate with the governing party of the day. So let's say in 2027, the election is done. Ruto, of course, will win as it stands right now. If you have to have election today, okay? If Martha Karua has her own party with Kioni, okay, she can always maybe get into a coalition with Ruto or negotiate a deal, since Ruto, of course, will be interested in poaching leaders from Central Province. Of course, I don't see Ruto getting the likes of Maina Njenga and all that, okay? But, like I say, Martha Karua, if she's divorced from Azimio and she has her own party, she stands in a better negotiating position dealing with the president compared to if she was to stay in Azimio and try to talk to the president. Because as long as she stays in the Azimio coalition, if she dares join Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, or make a deal with the president, she will be perceived as a traitor. Okay? But if she leaves Azimio, starts her own party, even though she might lose, or even before the election, she can always negotiate a deal with Ruto and say, hey, Ruto, if you win, you can make me the minister of bullshit, whatever the reason is. And she'll get a hefty paycheck from that. Okay? Joho knows this. The Joho issue is very interesting because it is said that Joho has a lot of businesses in that Kenyan port. And the rumors it is being said that Ruto probably approached Joho and told him, hey, listen, I know you run a bunch of businesses here in this port, Mombasa port, okay, the main port for Kenya. And probably told Joho, listen, Joho, here's what we're going to do. This business that you run in these Kenyan ports is going to end, okay? But in order to salvage something from it, let's make a deal. Come join UDA, okay? Let's work together. Bring those votes to me. Take some, you know, we need to weaken Azimio in the coast province, okay? So if you want this deal to happen, join Kenya Kwanza, okay? So as we've seen, Joho has started warming up to the Kenya Kwanza affiliated politicians, okay? He's talking about, I don't mind joining, working with the president. Once you start hearing politicians talk that, especially a top brass lieutenant for Raila Odinga, if they start talking about, I don't mind working with the government, I don't mind working with the president, I don't mind, know that the end is nigh, okay? Same thing with Martha Karua, okay? So who's left? Eunice Wamalwa in the West? Western Province, again, let's look at the Western Province. How strong is ODM or Azimio in Western Province? Okay? Ruto has the big wigs. He has Musalia Mudavadi. He has, what's that guy? Tim Wanyonyi's brother. The speaker, I forgot his name. Wetangula. Okay? Oparanya is West. Remember, this is how they're going to get to Oparanya. Remember, the EACC went after Oparanya and his wives for the money that embezzled when he was the governor of Kakamega. Again, this is how you can use your power to get people on your side. They can go to Oparanya and say, listen, Oparanya, you have this case, corruption case, that can actually land you in prison, and it can make you, we can seize your property. So let's make a deal. Oparanya, sit down with me, support me, join Kenya Kwanza, and those cases will disappear. You don't have to worry about your property being repossessed by the government. You don't have to worry about this case. It shall be dismissed, and everything will be fair and square. Just help me, come join Kenya Kwanza, go out there and campaign for me. Okay, this is the leverage that Ruto, as the president, the main guy in the government, can use against Azimio. Since these guys are corrupt, he can make a deal with them and say, hey, listen, as long as you support me, all these cases will disappear. Okay? But again, Raila does not have any leverage. But Raila is also a mjanja. Don't think he's sleeping. He knows this. That's why I'm saying it will be in his best interest to have a handshake with Ruto. Because if they go to 2027 in election, he will get beat. Like I told you, all his lieutenants around him are leaving him, are about to jump ship. So the best thing to do is this. Again, number one, create a crisis. Mandamano. Get the useful idiots like Maina Njenga. Protest, cause havoc. Then another useful idiots in the name of Haman Manyora shall be on TV every day screaming about these two needs to sit down. And indeed, they will eventually sit down and they shall start working on this BBI, creating positions for Raila and his minions. That way, he's not losing anything. You heard Wandanyi speak about they want to create the prime ministerial position, which they want to give to Raila. That way he can remain relevant. I told you, Raila has nothing to do with it. He has no job. He needs to stay relevant. That's why you see him every day going to Athi, whatever, to try to stop those demonstrations. He wasn't trying to stop the demonstration. He wanted to make the headlines because nobody cares about what he has to offer. He has nothing to offer. He has to stay relevant. But if they create this position of prime minister, he will stay relevant. he will have something to do. He can always struttle around making speeches across the nation talking about nothing, and it will make news headlines. Because as it is right now, he's not doing anything. Okay? I'm getting a call here, actually. I'm on live. I'm getting a call. Hey. Sorry, guys. I'm on live. I'm on live. Yes. Join in. Join in. But anyway, there's somebody's calling me right now. I just received a call right now. I was about actually ready to wrap up, but I'll wait for him. We'll give him like 10 minutes. If he doesn't show up, we'll just wrap it up, okay? Because I wanted to stay 30 minutes. It's already 30 minutes and 58 seconds, so I'm well over my limit. But again, as I was saying, let me reiterate what I was saying. My main point is this: everybody's jumping ship, okay? But in order for Raila to avoid the embarrassment of everyone, his top lieutenants jumping ship, don't get fooled. The guys from the ODM will stick with Raila Odinga, okay? The Mbadis, Sifuna, Babu Owino, they will stick with Raila Odinga, okay? But the other guys who are not Nyanza province top guns, okay, they will more than likely leave Azimio as it stands, okay? Okay? And now, knowing that, Raila's best move to outdo them will be to go by you see those talks that are happening at Bomas? That will be his best move. Join in the government, have a deal with the government. This nonsensical talks, the BBI is the best option. And they're using inclusivity as the reason why we need this bull crap. We do not need a BBI. We do not need a position of the official opposition or prime minister or chief cabinet staff, whatever the case you want to call it. This is unconstitutional. The only way to make it legal is to change the constitution, which has been their desire from way before. But in order to do that, since the political temperature, the zeitgeist does not support this idea of BBI, they have to create an environment where it will force people to accept that. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I'm about to wrap this up. It's been a pleasure. It's been 33 minutes. I just didn't want to stay here long. I just felt like I wanted to make that video. My special guests, I don't know if he's still coming in. If not, I'll start another live later. For now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, again, find me on YouTube. The name is Kenya Revolutionary. Right there. See that? Type that on YouTube. You'll see my face. Subscribe, like, share. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Tell me what you think. Do you agree? Is Azimio disintegrating? Okay? Is there a handshake loading? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and blessings.